Hey fam, thanks for clicking that button. You're about to tune in for another episode of I'm Telling You with me, Philly D, and Mr. Gemini. We're going to get into it again, part 2. Yeah, if you want part 1, click that link. Otherwise, stay tuned for the part 2 of us talking about Bob Lazar, UAPs, Skinwalker Ranch, and so much more. Maybe the government's going to disclose stuff. Maybe they haven't. Maybe the truth's already out there. We don't know. But we're going to get into it. See you in a hot second, fam.
I'm telling you, man.
So you didn't do your homework this week is what you said, and I didn't do mine to give you because I was supposed to send you clips and things and such.
You did mention that.
Yeah, no, I was supposed to send you stuff, so that was also on me. So it's it's a shared failure on both our parts.
So we both failed. All right.
So if neither of us did our homework, I mean, what are we supposed to do then? You know what I mean?
Just what comes natural, really.
Like that. That was natural.
I mean, that's not ideal, but or we could just expand on some interesting topics that we've been coming back into lately that apparently are in the limelight now. I don't know.
Such as?
Well, I mean, last time you were going on a kind of a rantish.
What?
Well, not a rant. No, I wouldn't call it a rant, but on an
exploratory re-return to previously said material.
Yeah, there was
Well, it's because, it's come back around again.
Yeah, around the drain.
Yeah, because it's just like it was a shitty idea.
Yeah, so the aliens, the Skinwalker Ranch. And
the aliens at Skinwalker Ranch? I mean...
The skinny
walkers with ranches and...
the alien skinny walkers. How does this go? Some skinny aliens.
No, walking. I had brought up Bob Lazar is back in general media. Like he seems to resurfaced in searches and whatnot. So he's a new interest again.
But what is the general tone of this resurgence though? Like, what is it? Is it like in a positive light for Lazar or?
Well, just previous content, interviews and such. As well as doing, I guess, like a revisit. So older interviews, but also newer interviews of people talking about, so explaining him and going into detail on the stories.
That's what I was looking for. Like, what's the general angle of most of what you're seeing? Like, is it kind of like trying supportive of?
It's not, there's no smearing in a sense. So there's no negative aspects. It's just a resurgence of past material, I guess. I think some of the conversations I saw were a little bit newer, but not like crazy new. But Skinwalker Ranch has been having some crazier data, and they're really getting to a place of finiting things. What was it? Not just Bob Lazar and that's and Congress or the government is releasing more information about the UFOs, UAPs kind of stuff. Supposedly there's going to be some form of a disclosure that's been happening, as well as Robert Bigelow, who was the original owner of the Skinwalker Ranch, doing the science experiments there. So he bought it from the people that owned it, and we're just giving the anecdotal data. And he basically was like, well, I want to buy your place and start looking at stuff.
And we were running off that theory. I'm sorry, on the last conversation about the 1 to /10%.
No, even if 0.01.
Even if it was 0.01, is I think as far as you were going, but
yeah, the thing with Bigelow is after doing all of the experiments on Skinwalker Ranch, all of a sudden he has all of these aerospace DOD contracts. There's no true evidence of what they are or what they're for, but we know the realm of it is, again, it's like aerospace DOD. So
all this stuff,
but he's making like crazy bank off of just that.
Black budget anyway, like completely hidden.
Well, I wouldn't say what he's doing is black budget per se. I mean, he's on the up and up because he's a private company and he's getting the contracts from the government to do work. I don't know what that entails, but
right. But it's very unspecified to any kind of final product, because that's how they would do it. They would split up the tasks enough that.
Well, so put it this way. He buys the property, Skinwalker Ranch, and starts doing his own personal investigation. So his companies that he started was doing this. The likelihood, I feel, because of this is they came up with some stuff, found some things, figured some stuff out, and they're now using that information or knowledge to generate something.
And this is the technology that's getting stumbled into?
That I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating that he went from strictly private funded to he now has government contracts and a crap ton. Dude makes money. He went from like pretty wealthy to like, oh shit.
We're talking all top secret stuff?
Well, we don't know what they're doing. So could be experimental. Could be top secret experimental. It could just be weird butt stuff. I don't know. Hey,
could be anything, time travel. It could
when
be,
you're paying that kind of money, you get all sorts of leeway. You know what I mean?
Multiverse, multipass.
Multipass, yeah. I was gonna.
They're like trying to create a portal. Who knows what they're doing?
Well, but that's the thing is with the current. I think I was calling him Fogel, and it's Fugel, Brandon Fugel, the current owner of Skinwalker, with Travis Taylor and all the other specialists and scientists and whatnot. Like I was saying, is they've predicted a model that's basically a giant donut. You know, it's a torrid.
Yeah, right.
Which could be seen as wormhole, some sort of tear through space time, weird energy surge that just creates this funnel. So it could be interdimensional. It could be parallel universe. It could be who knows what.
It is all interdimensional.
But, you know, you were saying, you know, ask what you were asking that question of. So it's like, maybe it is time travel. Maybe it is the fact of what Bob Lazar was doing with Element 115, you know, and generating the power supply for these supposed ET vehicles. Right? Non-terrestrial, because we're not taking claim that they're ours. The story with Bob is that they were found or discovered.
So going back to your, or kind of our somewhat theory about how quite possibly all these mysterious things that we think of as anything from werewolves to aliens is actually other beings that are on the same plane we are, but in a different, you know, like in the multiverse, but like we're just really close, but normally can't interact with each other. But something about the power of the pyramid and the pyramid structures.
Yeah, the ley lines and such.
Created a force field that would allow them to. So is the technology, do you think, somewhat maybe similar to that theory? That in order to create something, you have to create something big enough with a big enough power source to be able to travel?
I mean, honestly, it's with the predicted model, the shape of, you know, this torrid, it allows for a lot of speculation. And that's what I'm saying is perhaps when Bigelow had it, they were able to detail some of this stuff a little bit more. But that's the thing is, he was doing interviews and telling stories of how there was interaction, basically stating that they could ask for things to happen and they would literally happen. And it didn't have to be localized to where they were at. So they were able to get interactions on an intelligent level where they could ask for and get that interaction.
So turn the lights on if this, or...
I mean, I don't know. He didn't go into detail as to what they were.
Like, you're not giving me a whole lot of tangibles. I'm just, it just kind of makes me more curious than anything.
Well, and that's the thing is, so with, this is why I'm like, I feel they had figured some stuff out, or due to the research that they were doing, were able to figure some stuff out. Somehow or another, they have knowledge that basically gets them those government contracts. So they had to have done something. But the fact of his interviews, he talks about an intelligence, something that can actually be interacted with. The current owner and scientists are predicting shapes of things that could be Terran time, Terran dimensions. There could be a means for interdimensional communication. So there could be an intelligence that's actually interacting.
Or
I'm just
it could
saying,
also be like a Stephen King novel.
well, that's all I'm saying is with all of those things in conjunction with, what Bob Lazar's stories are about the different things, all of these things playing together definitely paints the picture that there is another form of intelligence of some sort that is not technically, it cannot be seen evidence wise as a humanoid of sorts. It could just be literal intelligence, could just be the energy of a brain in a sense.
So again, you're seeing these things like you're saying the same types of videos are resurfacing.
Well, but across the board, but of each of those things. Well, because no, the Skinwalker stuff is brand new. The interviews with
The tie-in though, and
well, right, the fact that all of these things seem to be popping up in the media, and again, it's not like heavy prevalence. It's not on ABC and CBS like all the crazy major channels and whatever else. But it is like YouTube wise, what you would see social wise. There's definitely been an increase of interest in these topics.
right, so more like open source media,
Right. Well, and so that's the thing is, so some of the Bigelow stuff was with George Knapp. George Knapp is the original journalist that broke the story about Area 51 back in '89 with Bob Lazar.
Right, right.
So that's what I'm saying is between all of the stuff that's kind of coming back up together, all of that in conjunction with the fact of the coincidences as they were of all these pieces, again, Bigelow doing Skinwalker, George Knapp interviewing him, and Bob Lazar, the stuff that he's working on, the things that they're starting to predict model wise at Skinwalker now that they're, televising or they're putting it out there. All of these things put together, again, points to the fact that there's most likely at least another intelligence out there that is not exactly, most likely us in a sense. So there's other something, which to me is just now there seems to be more and more potential for evidence that we're not alone.
There's something on the wing. Something. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Right.
That's why I was like, even out of all of the things that, all of that is, all of those different pieces, components, even if just 0.01% of any and all of that they're saying definitely paints this kind of model. There's just a greater sense of evidence that we're not alone, bro.
Well, you left me with kind of an interesting thing last time, though, because at one point you even made mention when I said about validity of the content, and you literally said, hey, on one side, it could just be a show made for entertainment.
It's the Skinwalker Ranch, Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, as it's called. Yeah.
So even in your own loyalty to the show, familiarity and love of the show that you have, you still understand that there's that possibility that none of it's true at all.
I mean, 99.99% could be, you know what I mean?
So it's just George Orwell all over again,
Right. But again, even if just, that's why, you say 1%, I say 0.01, even if just 0.01% of any of this is true.
I give it a solid 1% because I think that's completely manageable.
Well, I think it's more likely greater than that, but that's what I'm saying is even to the nth degree. I mean, you could even say 0.0000001%.
Something's got to be correct. Something.
If just one thing out of hundreds of speculatory anecdotal things, the potential that we're not alone is definitely there.
Like there had to be something there. Was it exaggerated? Maybe. Who knows? But I wasn't there. But it always calls that into question for me. Like I was saying last time, my reference to that was all the stories that line up between no matter what culture you're in. There's always certain stories that are repeated among
like the flood stories
all
and
of
things.
the cultures. And it makes you wonder, that's another one of those, even if 10% was completely accurate and true, that's still really impressive. Scary impressive.
Again, what if 0.01% is true, man?
So that one was like giants. And we went off on that for a little bit, I think, before.
But the Nephilim?
The Nephilim or
the New York Giants.
But the New York Giants.
Yeah. All hail the New York Giants.
Supposedly the whole stuff with the Smithsonian, like hiding all of these.
How like the Vatican does it too.
Confiscating
the Ark of the Covenant.
They've been doing that for a long time with everything.
Let's say Indiana Jones, where they have that giant warehouse with everything in crates.
All the gold.
Dude, nobody cares about gold anymore.
I care about gold.
No, you don't.
Well, only as a for its intrinsic value and health and tissue regeneration. It's amazing.
So, anyways, Smithsonian.
Oh yeah, that they've been hiding for years, like these giant skeletons, like skeletons of giant people that have been found.
The Nephilim.
Well, that's one of the claims, but yeah, the giants, they just call them, or the large, the excessively large people. I don't, whatever.
Andre the Giant was an excessively large people.
New speak term they put on that. I don't know, but.
Yeah, I mean, all of it is, that's what I'm saying, just David and Goliath. So now you start to put these biblical stories that have super mythological power to it, where there's like, okay, so this is just a parable. No, man.
Well, wasn't David and Goliath very similar to the story of the Cyclops? Wasn't there something about that in Roman, Greek mythology, whatever?
But like you were saying, the hand-me-down stories, so, flood myths and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Any and all of that put together, I mean, to me, it comes back to the idea that there's obviously an origin of some sort. But what is that?
That involves all of these stories somehow.
Yeah. Well, because the whole Adam and Eve thing, you get the parallel where you talk about the I'm going to butcher this. The Anunnaki. There we go. Anunnaki. Thank you. Where you have them coming to Earth and basically taking DNA and playing with it. Well, you would make a man and you would make a woman so that they can make each other, just like the animals would. I mean, if that was the point of making us.
Well, as the story goes, I believe initially they didn't want that. They wanted them to be completely sterile so that they could control exactly what population they.
But no. They would need.
Yeah.
You're making livestock.
Yeah.
But you would have to have a man and a woman. You would need the both parts to make the baby.
Something to start with, yeah. But
right. Well, same with plants. You would need pollen and stamen, like you would, or the pistil, like you would still need those two pieces to come together.
Do you have to do this? What?
A Chinese finger trapper?
That's not.
That's a thing.
No, we're not.
But again, you take those kinds of stories that seem so illogical on a mythical level, these biblical stories, but then start to put it into a relative understanding societally, scientifically. So all of the different aspects that you could then rationalize out. Well, this is why that story now actually sounds real. Whereas without that kind of evidence, there's no supporting factor. There just has to be that, belief. That's what I'm saying is now with all of the stuff that seems to be coming out, the way it's all being put together, there's more evidence being painted to show that, yeah, there's other intelligences out there. It's not just us. You know, and I'm not talking about like dolphins and whales and shit. You know what I mean? Like there's literal intelligences on a
like the Mahabharata, like the Hindu holy war in heaven. What's described in there are these vehicles that are basically UFOs that, by all accounts in the description, sound like they're using nuclear weapons. And some of this has been founded, you know, some of these ancient Egyptian sites, among others, ancient Sumerian sites, all types of stuff, where like whole statues, like sides of buildings or columns or whatever that have been knocked over, and what you can still see standing has like a clear burn mark from one direction, where it would have to reach temperatures so ridiculously hot to actually melt the stone.
time.
And that it has to be nuclear because of certain isotopes that are still present or whatever it is that they found. So there are like tie-ins. So this idea that all these Hindu gods were described being blue-skinned and floating on these craft and having these magical abilities. Were they describing something else, or was it like gods, or was it the same kind of story as the Anunnaki?
Right.
Like these people were warring with each other over who was going to own this piece of property. And we just got stuck in the middle. And this is the same story that's been repeated in several different cultures.
Yeah, man.
1%. If 1% of all these stories is true, at some point you got to go through all that repetition. Like, I mean, I take a 1% from each one of those stories and go, it's absolutely true, easily.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially when you...
But you're describing at the same time, you're describing giants with magical powers, the ability to almost blip in and out of this reality. All of these descriptions are there in ancient texts, scrolls. That's where these things were originally found.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. And people went through a lot of trouble to make sure they document these things. Like, would you do this just for entertainment?
Yeah, right. It's not like the freaking tabloids or something.
I mean, there may be...
You know, it's what is it, the National Enquirer or some shit.
Well, right. There may be an aspect of entertainment to it, but do you really think somebody would go through that trouble for entertainment? And to produce it in such a way that it would last through the centuries if stored properly? You know, you think about the possibility that we received any antiquities from the old world. It's amazing. When you think about the paper we use to print things on now would never last. And the things, even some of the things we think that are solid state, that are digitally stored, aren't nearly as strong and stand the test of time as the things that the ancients used. Even papyrus lasts longer than some of our digital options. Right? That's amazing. We're so advanced, though. You know, that's one thing I have trouble truly believe. Are we really? I think in some ways we went backwards. Technologically, we may be what in appearance is advanced for a society. But overall, do you think it's made us stronger and smarter? Or do you think overall it's kind of had the opposite effect?
Oh, no, I very much see it as the movie WALL-E. We're all just a bunch of fat people sitting in chairs, floating around space.
Not paying attention to anything, any real thing going on around them.
Pretty much.
The whole world could be falling apart. The whole boat's tilted to one side and nobody even notices.
Nope.
They don't notice until they get knocked off their little comfy sled with their slushy and...
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Cheesecake flavored slushy or whatever it was.
So yeah, I agree. While we have a level of intelligence and ability, the majority is not reflecting that in the truest sense. There's, like you were saying, I mean, papyrus and things like that. There's methods that we used to use that still last today, and we say our technology now, it disappears in years, if that.
You know, documents that we found that go well over 2,000 years old
Well,
that, I mean, they have to be stored a certain way to be able to still maintain them. But by the time we got to them, the fact that they were still legible at all,
well, yeah,
is
because
an incredible feat.
they were talking about, and we've brought this up before, how crystals very much could be used as data collection.
So how much info did we actually miss? Because it was just laying all about, and we thought it was just woo woo.
Could be.
Like maybe there's like the little carvings on the wall were just the children's notes from class. The real truth is all hidden within the, like Superman's cave, right?
Yep.
I think that was the reference we made before.
Correct.
How hilarious, right? We just got the leftover homework, or like the notes that the cute little pictures that parents post.
Yeah, those were 4-year-olds repeating what they saw their parents doing.
Right. So we're not even getting like, we don't even realize we still see a spoon. You know what I mean? But there is no spoon.
Well, yeah. So going even further, the hieroglyphics and all that stuff, and like ancient Sumerian, like when you get into the original writings as they were, what if even that, being as intelligent as it is, was done by the children? The real knowledge, like we were saying, is still held somewhere on crystals,
which are like in a museum gathering dust or something like that.
Or in the bottom of the freaking ocean.
We found these rocks there too. I don't know. They just had these rocks laying about. And like, for all you know, you stick them in a special slot over here, and like
you put it through the right matrix.
This whole screen opens up to you.
But that's what I'm saying is, coming from that conversation to now, is with all that stuff as potentials, even if the slightest little bit, I mean, there's,
what I was saying though is interesting. Maybe the takeaway from that though is the fact that they're resurfacing when they're on a media outlet like YouTube means that that's what people are looking for right now more than anything.
Agreed.
It's not the algorithm pushing it. The algorithm is only doing what the people want to see.
Well, right. So if more people are looking that stuff up, it's going to show it to more people. It's just like, oh, by the way, what about this?
All right. So if you're into the rabbit hole, you get sometimes you go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. And my big thing is I don't get crazy in my research stuff on YouTube. I mean, most of the time, if I do pop that on, it's comedic stuff, or I'm looking at other people that have shows like we do and stuff, researching basically, but things within realms that I enjoy. So I'm maintaining the proper mindset.
This has never been about research, though. Not really.
No, my personal research for my life.
Absolutely. But this has always been about speculation based on the research that we do for our personal life. This has always been about speculation.
No. I'm not even talking about that. Like I literally use it to look up stuff that is to better myself. It's not knowledge about like the things that we talk about. This is personal life choices stuff. Self-help basically.
Right,
but
okay.
But because one, there's good knowledge, literally. Well, there's literally good knowledge, but then there's also the fact that I'm watching other individuals use their life experiences to speak to someone to help them have a better life. Those people are reaching out for a reason, and they're there to help. And that's a beautiful thing. So if I can hone my skills in that, as well as in just people doing this, it just makes me be the better me that I can. It helps to, change why we do the show the way we do, to be authentic and real. So yeah, those are my inputs. So even me just doing that kind of stuff, things have just been popping in, and it's just like, well, what the heck? So that's why, I feel as though there seems to be a resurgence, and it may be tied into the government disclosing some stuff, which I honestly I don't know what that information is.
Neither do I, because I don't keep up to date with it. But
no, I know it's in the midst of, and I'm basically, it had just started to truly happen in the past weekish. So I'm more or less letting that kind of come out and filter itself. And then what makes it to me is like, oh, that's what they were going to do. Okay. But in the interim, with that happening, all of this other stuff, Bob Lazar, George Knapp, Robert Bigelow, Skinwalker Ranch, I mean, all of these things, UFOs, UAPs, blah, 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 all that woohoo, weird science fiction shit. Sounds like some of it's true. Or at least we're having evidence of, and we're admitting to.
There are things coming up in Congress now that I'm seeing videos, edited videos from. So I don't know how much of this, I mean, do we actually have like a full panel on this now or?
Well, there has been.
Yeah. So
There's been for a while.
I haven't, like I said, I haven't been keeping up to date, but I have seen these little clips come out from congressional hearings based on these very topics.
It was very much a ongoing, I mean, it was lengthy.
What I always find to be interesting is no matter what's brought up in those hearings, you rarely ever see much mention of it in the actual mainstream anywhere.
Well, that's why I always say is while I don't watch the news per se, because I don't, if certain information channels itself to me, if somehow or another it filters down and I actually get wind of it, it's like, all right, I think this has been vested a little bit. This isn't just, you know, some woo-hoo bullshit that just came out of nowhere.
Usually I end up learning about new events, current events, friends at work who mention it. And I'm like, well, I don't watch news, so I don't know.
Right.
Is it bad? I don't think so.
No, because I mean, in all honesty, if it's something of that true severity, pretty sure I'd know about it. You know, I'm not avoiding.
Right.
I'm just not ingesting all of it.
I wasn't listening to the radio that morning, but when the Twin Towers got hit, I heard about it. It didn't take very long. So you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah, man.
That's absolutely true. People will run to you and tell you, dude, have you not heard yet?
Yeah. So if it
didn't take 30 seconds.
No, but if it's of true severity, if it's something that I should really be aware of,
it will be.
So far, it seems to work out. I will know this. So, yeah.
I got to the same point. It felt like there wasn't enough payout for it. You know, if it's always something depressing that leaves you in a mood and might actually in turn affect how I treat others around me, I'm not going to watch that. I mean, you said the same thing anymore. You're like, I can't listen to this music or that music or watch that show because I don't want to let that in. It may be very good. I'm not denying that. But it's in a direction that I'm not at.
Yeah.
So it's hard, I think, sometimes to get to the point where you can say that and just be like, no, I'm sure I would watch it. I'm sure I would enjoy it as much as it's meant to be enjoyed, but I don't want my head there right now.
Yeah, man.
You know, there may be times or certain exceptions I can make, but that's not one of them, you know?
Especially on a daily basis, because, you know, as we've talked before, the RAC, the Reticulum Activation Center, as I'm constantly ingesting, I'm programming and reprogramming myself to know what I do and don't want to look at. So I'm finiting my ability to only ingest the appropriate positive thinking and open-mindedness that I really want to embody.
The concern I've heard about that particular method from other loved ones of mine, though, is, you know, are you putting on blinders? Are you ignoring truth?
Yeah, man. That's why I just said, you know, a little bit ago.
That's where my side came in.
But that's where I was saying just a little bit ago about the whole news thing. It's like, it's not that I'm avoiding, I'm just allowing it to be filtered out more so that when it gets to me, I'm not just ingesting straight bullshit.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. If it makes it to me with the avenues and systems that I have to ingest information,
yeah,
I should know about this.
Yeah.
Outside of that, why would I worry? Why would I put any of that kind of stuff on my radar? So it's not a disregarding like, oh, that doesn't exist. No, it's just I'm going to wait until that shit's a little bit more vetted. Then I'll take it for what it is.
You know, I think more people should take that approach. I mean,
you can't with the way society's set up, dude, with everything being so 7 seconds ago
with the
now.
Ebbs and flows of the truth that's broadcast on your nightly news, and everybody takes it with a grain of salt that that's the absolute truth. And no, it's news. They get shit wrong all the time.
Yeah.
So you fly off the handle and make some poor life decisions based on information that you can't even vet. I can't live my life like that. You know, do I want to let that in at all?
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I see the other side of the argument too. Like, how are you going to stay ignorant of the world around you? You know, what if it comes home and affects you? And it's like, well, when it affects me, then I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, how can you not? Like, I can't spend all my energy worrying about things that may happen.
Yeah, I'm burning brain calories as well as
It's just not worth it.
You're inundating yourself with stress. Like, you need all of that, man. None of that is healthy.
Yeah, you got to just breathe in, breathe out. You know, like something about being on the edge of life and death that gives you clarity and stuff like that. That I'm just like, it's not worth my time anymore. That's absolutely true. It's good to be able to notice that, though. I mean, I can easily go down dark places by watching like really interesting movies and get into them and shows and stuff. I mean, I've watched Dexter, no doubt. You know, darkness. It's reality. I was saying that leads back to the one quote that you liked quoting me on was, cannot
think about the negatives.
Can't not think about the negative, because to not realize that it's there and that it exists so that you can avoid it, that's not healthy either. And I think that comes to that same concern that people come to me with about ignorance. It's like, I'm ignorant by choice when it comes to current events locally and nationwide, because what am I going to do that's going to affect anything if it's not with those directly? The important news that I need to receive is from the people that I love and care about the most, the ones that are close to me.
I mean, for the majority,
that's what affects me the most in my little circle of the world. You know,
I get that.
Not that I don't want good things and good tidings for all people, but I realize that, I don't know. I mean, your luck or your blind hope and faith, however, whatever carries you on, there's only so much I can do for others. But if I'm there, if I'm in the moment and you are in my life, then absolutely. But to think beyond that and worry beyond that makes no sense to me.
No.
It's wasted energy.
Well, again, that's why I don't.
Can you disconnect yourself from it enough to be loving it from over here and just saying, if I can affect the change in this, and that should spread around, like, you know what I mean? Don't spread yourself too thin, right? Try to do what you can for good for those closest to you and hope that it's.
I love how we went from UFOs and.
This is how we always do, though.
I think this is how you always do.
Well, we have video evidence, so you can, you know, point your finger as much as you want. But hey, I'm like Popeye. I am what I am.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's the indicator.
I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, it's time.
I am clear and coherent. It's more of a time issue, I think, than anything.
Dude, that's not a watch.
No, I know it's not, but I like to do that anyway. They don't know. Oh, now they do.
That shit's staying in there. You get the wooden gun and a rape whistle.
Yes, I do.
That is correct. I'm a peacock, Cap. Gotta let me fly.
Oh, I did a desk pop.
Cap, I did my desk pop. Aren't you proud of me?
It's not a thing, bro.
Yeah, it is definitely time to go now, Mac. Well, we had said we were going to have a continuation. We did. It was sans additional research. Go figure.
Isn't that just like us, though? Just like us.
So I'm saying it sounds like we need to put some little something on this.
I don't need to do shit.
Kind of like the Terrence Howard thing. I just got sucked into that and did 4 episodes, I think, right?
No, I don't want to keep doing that, but we didn't really have any plans. But that's kind of what's been on my mind.
We never have any plans.
Well, that's...
And even when we do, we don't stick to them.
It's the seat of my pants. That's what
about the seat of your pants?
That's... I don't know. It's a turn of phrase. I'm not really sure.
You turn a what?
Bro. Why you always gotta make it weird?
Well, someone's got to pay your bills.
Why you have to make it weird? That's what I want to know.
I don't have to. I'm just good at it.
Can't really argue with that. It's a very valid point.
Well, thank you. But yeah, You at home, if any of this has been resonating with you, as always, like hit us in the comments. For real, for real.
I don't even know what we said, so please remind me in the comments what we just talked about.
He's not lying. It's not until he rewatches then he's
I'm
like,
Tom.
"Oh, that's what I had said. I remember that now." So that
Sometimes
is a
happens.
thing.
I mean, I do drink on the show. Kind of part of the show. Maybe it is the show.
It's in the comments.
It is in the comments.
As well as we appreciate you stopping by and checking in. But yeah, continue that conversation. Let's do it, as well as be good to yourself. Be good to everything else.
Much love. Peace. Peace.
Just for old time's sakes. We'll miss JD in there.
Yeah. I guess that shows up good. I was trying to see if the fourth wall. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't. I just totally distracted and derailed everything you said right now. So I'm sorry for that. I'm a terrible.
I mean,
friend.
this is probably just not usable material, maybe.
Why?
Or bloopers later.
You're a blooper later. What the heck? It's all good.